from Barry. It had been several years since the Norrumby branch line closed. The stations and harbour were deserted, and weeds had grown in between rails. Cars and lorries handled all traffic. Thankfully, the line was not in terrible shape following its closure. It had not been torn up, and no buildings had been demolished. While Sir Charles Topham Hatt was unable to reopen the line, Dr. Beeching got a tongue lashing from the stout gentleman and left Sodor alone. At Barry Island, a large 2MT woke up to find that he still stood cold, sad, and alone on a siding. He was hoping that being withdrawn and possibly facing the cutter's torch was nothing more than a nightmare, and he would awake to find himself on a heritage railway, or, at the very least, in active BR service. Sadly, neither was to be. The scrap engines from a distance, musty air, and overgrowth were proof enough that it wasn't a dream. It made his heart sink. Nature hadn't been too kind to him. His paint was faded, his insides were rusty, and weeds and bushes had grown around him. He wished he could work again. The tank engine felt sick as he listened to cutters breaking steam engines to pieces from a distance. He was sure he'd be one with the scrap. Days passed. Those days turned into weeks, which turned into months. At one point, he was completely hopeless. He had given up on the idea of a new life entirely, and begrudgingly and tearfully accepted his fate. That was until he overheard two men talking. One was the scrapyard manager, and the other was foreign.
Do you have any?
Right this way, sir.
The tank engine was confused. No, surely not. It couldn't be. The man would probably ditch the idea entirely and buy a diesel engine. After all, that was what most people were interested in, he thought.
Here's one, sir. Will this do?
Yes, sir. I believe this engine will make a fine addition to my railway. Now, what is your name?
Well, the cutters call me Barry, after this scrapyard. I really don't like that name.
I see. How would you like to be referred to?
How about Arthur?
Arthur it shall be. You, Arthur, shall pilot at my big station for the time being. If you're as good as I think you are, I may relocate you to one of the branch lines. My railway is a sanctuary for engines like you, so you are in good hands.
Oh, thank you, sir.
It's my pleasure, Arthur.
In the meantime, Harvey would restore the Norrumby branch. Arthur would adjust well to life on Sodor. A trick by a cheeky blue tank engine would make his new beginnings a bit rocky. But I shall say no more.